Shine, I'ma shine. I'm not one for wasting time. I'ma make that shit that gon' go have you wait and stand in line. Shine, you gon' shine. Don't you go and waste your time. I know you feeling down, but I know what you got deep inside. Shine, I'ma shine. Shine, I'ma shine. Shine, you gon' shine.
What up, what up? This is Painter Gain. I'm Dr. T.
Timo.
Welcome back, welcome back. We took a little
Vacay.
vacay.
Well, you did.
I did take a vacay.
Yeah.
But last week we went on, we did some of the BSP fantasy stuff. We'll get to that. Any fantasy questions, injuries, anything like that, ask him in. We'll shoot it. We'll give you at least an unbiased opinion, or we'll tell you how biased we are, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, man, I went to Colorado with my brothers. We
Cool.
went to Red Rocks. We went to go see this kind of indie folk music. People call it Mountain Joy. Super dope, super like feel good music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Red Rocks is like that amphitheater outside, super famous, super.
I heard great things about that place.
Yeah, it's super nice. Shout out Red Rocks, way to go. Super dope. I cried in the middle of it. It was crazy. Awesome.
Just amazing.
Yeah,
Just all
it was
over.
great.
You're like, why am I crying?
Yeah, went over there, did the granola white people exploring stuff. Went to the Rockies. It hailed. It rained. It was.
And then, I remember
real sunny.
from when you were telling me off air about the color of the water.
Oh yeah, so there was like a rock slide, I guess, I can't remember the river, but we went to Lake Hayamea, Haya something, yeah, Haya something, a Japanese
Gotcha.
name.
Okay.
But because of the rock slide, it picked up the glacial silt. There was like a guy there who knew about it and was telling like his family members that he was there, and we were just kind of like eavesdropping. Yeah.
Okay, sick.
And so it picked up the glacial silt, I guess, from the bottom of the like riverbed and stuff, and it picked it up into it. And so it was like a sea foam. It literally looked like the turquoise, the turquoise gemstones and stuff. Yeah. It looked just like it was just turquoise through the whole thing. It was so sick.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was super dope, super fun. Really enjoyed it. Went out with me and the two other Dimiches it was the first time we kind of took like a brother trip on our own.
Oh, sick. There you go.
Without like family or anything involved.
Yeah,
So
just going
was
out to hang out.
Yeah, it was nice
brothers.
to go in. Yeah, we took we rented a car, went around, did some disc golf, saw a bunch of nature, saw some like doe and elk and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It was really cool. It was a nice.
Was that your first time over in that area?
Yeah, I'd never been to Colorado before. I've been to we done like road trips to like Utah and stuff, and like
Utah's cool.
I lived in Arizona for a few years while I was in grad school anyways, but I'd never been to Denver or anything. Always heard really good things. We had a really good friend who ended up graduating dentistry school for your guys' year, Rose.
Yeah.
And she lived in Denver for a while. So my oldest brother had been there for a little bit, but I'd never go around. I don't really have a travel bug.
Was the air that tough to breathe in?
Altitude, I got tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did about 7 miles in the Rockies, and I just thought it was because I was out of shape, but like every mile or so, I had to sit there and be like, all right, guys, let's just take in the surroundings and take that in for us.
It's not Pain and Gain improved.
Yeah, so I definitely got tired at some stuff. We would sit there and be like, oh, this is a good spot for lunch. So we had like our Uncrustables and stuff, and had a beer and stuff. So anyway,
kicking it.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it was cool, but it was definitely like, yeah, I would say it was kind of noticeable. Now, like looking back on it, I was like, you know what, I got more tired than usual. Yeah, it was definitely an impact, but. I wasn't like running stairs or anything, but yeah, no, going up the Red Rocks and stuff. Now that you mention it, was like I got like winded. I had to go to the bathroom and stuff. We went down to our spot.
Isn't it a big incline or like a tough incline?
It's kind of steep, yeah, but it's like regular stairs going up on the side of it. But they have like big step stair things. But yeah, I definitely went up to the bathroom, was like huffing, just.
Yeah, like I'm gonna hold it in. I'm not.
Yeah,
going back.
so that was a little tough going to that, but it was worth it.
Yeah, definitely go back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Denver, actually. I didn't want to.
Is it a pretty big city?
It's pretty big, but it doesn't feel crowded. Like I went in there, I feel like you're around here and you see like a building or something, or you see something that you want to see a site, and you're like looking around a bunch of stuff, like looking around cars or like looking over things or through buildings.
Yeah.
I feel like when you were driving in Denver, it was like, oh, there's the thing, and we just like stared at it because nothing was in our way. There wasn't a bunch of people over there, so it was kind of nice for that. But I didn't mind it at all. My brothers liked it a lot. They were like, "Oh yeah, I could live here," and I was like, if I had a job, I could live here. That'd be sick.
Like, yeah,
I wouldn't mind it at all, but it was kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I always hear good things about Denver. A lot of people take trips there too.
Yeah, it's nice kind of get away from everything. The Airbnb was pretty sick too, and I'm sure a lot of people have like stuff like that out now because they have a bunch of like just wildernessy areas. They have a bunch of cabins for rent and stuff.
Yeah, that makes
like,
sense.
Yeah.
Would you go in there in winter? Are you a winter kind of guy? Or do you like
I'm a
snowboarding?
wuss, dude. I am born and raised California boy, and I can't.
Yeah, I'm not with it either.
Nah, I'm good with not dealing with snow.
Yeah.
Like I can kind of deal with the heat now, but like I'm good with not having to deal with snow. Or it's just not something I'd go on vacation.
Yeah.
I want to go relax. I want to enjoy things.
Everybody likes to do like snowboarding and stuff like that. I've never been snowboarding myself, but everybody's like, yeah, it's so much fun. But it's like the first 3 days.
Oh, my brothers love that.
Yeah, like once you're like when you're learning, it kind of sucks because you go out there for maybe 2 days and the
Just
first
eat
day
snow for 2 straight days.
Exactly, and then you're like, okay, I can't wait till next year when I come back and do better. Like,
Yeah, let me
I wanna
pay
do
all this
skiing.
money for this again. But
I want to do skiing for sure.
yeah,
I think that
It's
would
fun.
be easier and less like falling on your ass all day. Be able to actually hit the slopes.
Yeah, I heard learning to ski is easier, but like snowboarding better than just a regular person is easier once you learn it. I heard snowboarding is easier to get good at, but skiing is easier to just be able to do successful.
Yeah, see,
I could
that's
be wrong.
rather-
If anyone correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong for anybody.
Yeah, I just want to be. That's all I want to do. I want to do that type of motion. I mean, because I never skateboarded or anything too much.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, not a skateboarder. Definitely not. Blader, though. I like rollerblades. Rollerblades were cool. And then, like, in my generation, we had the scooters come out. Scooters were
Yeah,
lit.
I remember having a scooter. I was a razor whipping
yeah,
the
razor,
the
yeah.
one-legged trying to do like tail whips and
Yeah,
stuff down in there.
exactly. You ever hit your ankle?
Hell yeah.
Hell of times.
It's numb now.
I think we were talking about this in our, I don't know where we were talking about this, but did you ever have soaps or Heelys?
No, but I had friends that did. And
Yeah.
I was so jealous of them. I remember going to my friend. His name was Ram, Raum. I remember Ram was the coolest because he had the soaps and he would grind at school on the little things. I was like, man, this guy's super cool. We go to his house and he had the PlayStation. He had a Twisted Metal, that game.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
that was
one
a
with
good
the clown head on top of
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah.
So we'd go over to his house, play Twisted Metal on his PlayStation. He'd put the Gorillas on, like old school feel good
yeah.
eating stuff. And
I
then
just-
he'd sit there and like grind on edges. I'm like, man, I want to be this kid. I don't know what's happening, Ram, if you're somehow watching this. But shout out Ram. Ram was the coolest kid that I knew in like the 3rd grade. Man. that kid
Yeah, I
was
had
sick.
soaps. I had soaps. Soaps were pretty cool. Yeah, I never got into the Heelys. I didn't like how big and bulky they were. That's for sure. I didn't want to fall backwards.
Oh yeah, it's scary, dude.
Yeah,
It
I could
really
do the
is.
because I was like a blading. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
same
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
same thing. Run on your shoes and then grind.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool though.
Shout out from the chat. Sarah saying skiing is easier if you've ice skated and can hold your own ice skating. I will not go ice skating. I think I will be.
Me and James are gonna go learn ice skating.
Oh my God, are
gonna
you
do it
guys?
with us, yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying. I have this.
You have to learn so you could be the referee because we're gonna go. We're also gonna do stuff. We're like, all you gotta do is drop the puck. We want to learn face offs, and we're gonna do a whole
I'll
bunch
be
of
able
stuff
to like
for hockey.
weed in. I'm gonna drop the
Yeah,
puck and be
exactly.
like, wait for me to back up, guys. I gotta get out of here.
yeah, exactly. So that's one thing that we
Little
have in our.
tink.
So and then we want to learn a little bit of synchronized like figure skating a little bit, and we're gonna go to Christmas in the park and
All
break
right.
it out. Yeah, trying to get.
I'll walk in and be like, hey, what are these guys doing? Trying to cause a scene for you guys. But
There you go.
I mean, I just had this fear of like falling down and no more
Yeah.
fingers. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a weird.
That's
Fear. I
just
think my
nice.
brother told me about it, and I was like, you know what? That's a rational fear. I'm gonna have that fear too. That's what
You
I'm
know
gonna
what?
have.
I'm cool. I'm just gonna be on the outside with my hot chocolate,
Yeah,
just watch
I'm
everybody
good.
fall.
I remember. So we used to go to Shark's Ice and stuff, and I remember having the little bars, the red bars,
Uh-huh.
where you'd go onto
Oh,
and
yeah.
you'd like push with it, and it was like a walker for skiers.
Yeah.
I remember doing that a lot.
That's cool.
Couldn't do
Yeah,
that.
I know that's like they make it super easier when they do like park ice rinks because it's
Yeah.
like easier to kind of push off and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you
It's
can kind of grab.
yeah,
and
grab
go.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's one thing we're gonna learn. So when we injure ourselves, we'll come to you and be like, "Oh,
Nice.
what did we break?"
Ice skating.
Oh, didn't we? Actually, kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but Gallinari injury.
Gallinari injury.
The 50 sent that picture of
The picture. I don't know what that picture was. I was
That's his
looking at
knee.
it. I know, but the hole in it, your meniscus isn't out there.
Oh my god!
Like you can't look and see a meniscus snap. That's like his quad was like seizing up or like spasming or something.
Oh, for real?
So that was a weird. I saw the picture and I stared at it for a bit. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I saw the report and they say he tore his lateral meniscus. Right? That was the thing.
Uh-huh.
So,
But it's like, isn't the meniscus like underneath?
So it's inside, yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
if we can have, I think in the Slack I sent a picture of it because we were going to talk about it with the Zach Wilson injury.
Yeah, we'll pull it up.
And his surgery. But the meniscus is essentially two like C's that your bone sits into. So your femur, so the biggest leg bone has like two little like the Halloween bones.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say,
so it has those
it
two little
there,
nubs on them, basically. They're called epicondyles. And you have those little things on the outside, and they sit in to these two little C's, and that's like the little cushion for it.
Gotcha.
So the outside's a little bit lifted, and it's a little bit bigger.
Gotcha.
And so it's inside of your knee. So it's between, so you have your MCL and your LCL. So your MCL, the medial collateral ligament, goes from like the top of the knee to the inside. So it's like, can they see me on here? I don't know if they can. Can you see my knee?
Let's bring it up to you. Yeah, by
okay. So it comes from here to here, and it is here. That's your MCL, the medial side of it, and your LCL does this, and it holds these two bones together. Okay, so right now, if I was to look at my meniscus, it would be right here, but like implanted underneath this.
Gotcha.
So it's like meniscus here, and it's like LCL or MCLs in here, holding this bone down in there.
Gotcha.
And so it's from like my thumb down to like my middle knuckle. And so that's your MCL. Your meniscus sits inside of it. So you can't like physically see, like someone tear, like you can see videos of people pop their ACLs, and you'll see like the shin bone shift forward. Like that's a real thing. That's how a lot of people can see that injury happen. But meniscus, there's 0% chance you're going to see the meniscus tear. So it's like a weird thing.
How that picture kind of came out. But I can see what you're saying. Like if saying you said his hamstring probably was seizing up.
It was his quad. So it looked like the outside part of it. And so we have right here, up here, somewhere in here. Okay. So it's right in here. So that's what the two little C's look like. So it's a little cushion area, and that's going to be just where your two bones sit in. So from your femur, the two parts of it. Yeah. So it's like a gel cushion for you.
Yeah.
And so if you can see it, there's a shearing force that happens when you sit in and you twist. And so that's when it can kind of scrape the outside part of it. And so that's how you get these things called like, they'll say maybe a bucket handle tear is where there'll just be a shed of it, and it'll literally flip over to the other side.
Yeah, because my dad tore his meniscus, and that's how he did it. He twisted.
Yeah.
He twisted. So his leg locked, and when he twisted to go grab a tool, it just stayed in that place and ripped.
That's the classic. That's straight out of the textbooks. They would, so like a question on an exam in school would literally be, all right, someone is playing basketball. They like put their foot down fully extended and then twisted on their heel to throw the ball back and felt a sharp pain in their knee. Blah, blah, blah. What is it? Meniscus.
Makes sense.
Instantly, that is textbook definition. So that's why that picture was a little weird, but yeah, so they have that. Now that we're on it, the weird thing about the meniscus is there's a bunch of, is there anything in chat I should be knowing about? I'm going to get on a roll, so just kind of stop me.
You're good for now. Yeah, you're good for now.
Stop me if we need to, because I won't stop. The weird thing about the meniscus is there's actually different vascular zones. What that means, there's different blood supplies. So the furthest outside, it's actually not what would commonly be think. Everyone would kind of think the ones closest to the middle of your body or the middle of the bone would be the most vascularized. There would be the most blood towards the middle. So it's the opposite for the meniscus because it's outside in. So the big cushion on the outside has the most blood flow. So we refer to it in thirds. So the outer third, the inner third, and then the most inner third. So the most inner third is like pure white. There's like no blood in there. There's no issues. That's why you have all these little issues that need to go in and get like scraped down.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I saw the video. They gave my dad the video of when they were like cutting up. Yeah, they shit it around it.
Just shave it around.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was definitely white for sure. That's what I remember the most.
Yeah, so the most inner part of it, the most medial part of it, the most closest to midline, is that third has like basically no blood flow. And we talked about healing and things with no blood flow before with the scaphoid.
Oh, yeah. So it takes a long time to even heal.
Right. So the least amount of blood that you have in the area, blood heals everything. That's the only way you heal anything is blood, right? Yep. So that's why heating is now like a more sought after. In the last 10 years, heat for your injuries has been like a big push. Instead of icing everything, it's heating everything because you want blood flow to get to the area and you want, and that's how it heals. So anyway, so having those injuries on the inside part of those meniscus is why it's always nagging, or why you can have someone play on it and play on it, and then they finally go get arthroscopic surgery to go and kind of shave it down. Because that's what they do, is they literally just take it like, nah, F it. You don't need this part of it. They'll just shave it down and you'll have less of meniscus. But it'll be the inside of it, so it's not as important. Yes. Or the other thing they'll do is they will go and do a full tear. So they will take it and literally shave to the inside to cause blood flow to the rest of it. So like a paper cut, like say I have like a cut on my nail. Okay. And I got something on my nail, and it's not like I broke my nail all the way in, and it's not healing right. What they would do is basically cut further up on like my hangnail, cut that down so that the blood would come down and to heal it. So that's kind of what they're doing with your meniscus on the inside part. So you would cut the outer part of it, or you would sew into it, and then you go do it. That's why those are repairs. Why a fully torn meniscus is sometimes not as bad as a bucket handle, because a bucket handle you have to take out so much of it, and a fully torn one you can kind of sit there and let it heal on its own, and there's a chance that it'll just kind of come back to normal because it already has the healing properties of it.
I think it took about, for him, he's an older, man, so it took him about maybe 3 to 4 months.
Bucket handles are more, so they can come in and they'll have what's called a scope. If you hear someone go get a scope on their knee, they just get 2 things inside and they'll like clean it out. They'll just take a little like a rotating kind of buzz, and they'll go in and they'll shave it down.
Gotcha.
And they'll take that and be like, all right, you can walk on it, just don't go crazy on it, let it kind of heal. You got a bunch of trauma in there, and those you're walking within a day or 2. So
really?
I'll get someone who had like surgery the day before, and they'll come into the clinic and be like, hey, like being very careful on it, doing this, or like, hey, the doctor said this, but this. And I was like, yeah, you can walk on it. Like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
But when you get the bucket one, that's when...
The bucket handle, when they have to take out a whole bunch of it, that's when it becomes an issue. So when they just shave it down, or you don't have to cause that much issue, but to get the bucket out, you have to snip it, you have to sew it back together on any of the weak points, and you have to get it. So that's why repair is so much different than like just a shave down.
Just a little shave down.
And why they can do something like a shave down on a meniscus, as opposed to like, you can't really shave down an ACL. That's not a good thing.
I know, I was about to say
that's why it's the only...
It's more of just a cushion, right? Or necessarily?
It's the only ligament that you can go in and, shave. The rest of it, you wouldn't be able to. You'd have to repair it. You have to sew it up. You'd have to get an autograft or an allograft, which is taking like a different part of either you or a cadaver and then putting it in there to strengthen it up.
Interesting.
But yeah. Do we have anything in the chat? Let me pull this up.
Yeah, you're good.
I
think I saw one.
So I see one from Haku. Is there one before Haku that I just can't see because I can't pull this up because I'm a boomer apparently?
Sarah said, what are common meniscus surgeries? I think that's the one we just answered though. You said the bucket. There's the clean.
Okay, I got you. So the common meniscus surgeries are either repair or like a scope. Or a clean out is what they're called. So you can have full repair in which they have to sew it together, which that's the one usually non-weight bearing for 6 weeks, give or take, depending on your surgeon. But usually 6 weeks is safe, 4 to 8, let's say. And that's because you have to be careful with the meniscus because it's a compression force. So it's like, imagine repairing the hydraulics on your car. Like it'll be okay, but you can't like drive it yet. So the same thing with your knee is if you repair that meniscus and it comes in, you don't want to press down on a freshly sewed cut,
Straight up.
So that's more common, and that's why it's commonly injured with other things too. So one of the terrible triads that's very, very common where we're from, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of people who've had it, but usually ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus. So your MCL is actually attached to your medial meniscus. So it shares like a very common fascia, connective tissue. So where they connect, it's just like kind of a web, and it helps out. And so if you tear your ACL and MCL, a lot of the time you take part of the meniscus too. So it's usually just all in one.
Just a whole thing.
Yeah, and that's usually
Is that better though? Instead of well, nobody ever wants to tear anything in
right.
But if there was a way that you think it would be easier to rehab or safer to rehab?
No, the ththing that it changes is it causes you to not be able to weight bear. Like a lot of time people can use their ACLs. James, you had ACL surgery, right?
James says he actually has no meniscus.
No, they just took it out. So that's a thing. Probably potentially going to have arthritis and may have a knee replacement eventually. Like, that's probably what they told you eventually. Might have a knee replacement in the future if you don't have anything for arthritis buildup.
No meniscus, right?
Yeah, because no meniscus and then ACL.
So no meniscus, ACL.
All was torn.
Yeah.
So you were
that's
full.
It was
The
all-
trifecta.
if it's too far gone to repair, they'll just take it out, and you could get what's called a uni. So you can get a partial knee replacement where it's just the medial compartment, where it's basically just the inside part of it, and that one's a lot better.
Check that one on the bottom.
Okay.
Last one.
After having surgery to sprain ACL and MCL, they have you do exercise therapy to get back to normal. Correct. If you didn't complete the therapy, didn't get back to full motion, now 2 years have gone by. Is it possible to do exercise to get the full motion, or is it too late? So, this is a tricky one, because depending on how much motion you have, if you're sub like 120 flexion, it's probably going to be a little bit tough. Getting it fully straight may not be a possibility. What happens is you scar down. So you get a bunch of scar tissue that builds up, and it starts to kind of just happen around your knee area. And I think we went over scar tissue one of the other episodes, because it's just a very vague term, and I use it all the time, and it's not like very understand. It's just like when you have a scar on your skin, you don't really know how it's going to look. It just looks a certain way, and you're like, oh, there's little lines here, there, and I don't know why it's there.
Yeah.
That happens inside of your body all the time. And so you could get this scar tissue that attach certain things to certain things that aren't supposed to be attached all the way. So sometimes it's too far gone to get it fully straight. So if it's not fully straight, it's not looking good for you within 2 years. But
Is there like ways to kind of?
you could. So you can do what's called mobility training or things
That
like
makes
that
sense.
that a lot of people do, and it's getting more common now.
It really is.
People doing in
Seen a
like
lot
the
of stuff.
gym, doing like a lot of hip mobility or shoulder mobility work and stuff like that. You don't see a lot of knee mobility stuff just because it's not usually an issue for people who are still going to the gym.
It's true.
Just because like usually younger folk, you just don't need your knee to be mobile, really. Like usually you want it to be stable.
Yeah. For the most part.
And so you can do things, but it's going to take like, it's usually more just constant motion. So like biking, elliptical, maybe not like stairs or running because that's compression on it, but like biking, elliptical, a lot of full range of motion workouts with lighter weight. I don't care how much you can push. I just want you to push something. So it could help out.
I was gonna say cycling too, because I've been recently kind of not playing as much basketball. So just 'cause my knee's been bugging me. So, but I still wanted to do something active, and like elliptical's cool and everything. But I just find cycling that's helped out just a lot more on my knee. It feels better. I'm walking around. I feel it doesn't hurt as much as well too, because it's still kind of low impact. I'm not trying to push it too much weight, or whatever tension that it has. But that's definitely helped a lot, cycling personally for me. So
Yeah, I'm a
recommend
big recumbent bike, big exercise bike guy. That's a huge thing.
I definitely like that. Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites now.
We
For
got
sure.
another one from Haku Systems. First time, long time. Is there such thing as tender replacement from a cadaver? So there is. There's a, it's called an allograft. So they'll take actual cadaver ACLs.
What's a cadaver?
So cadaver is a dead human.
Okay.
So just a body that they've donated for either research or donating organs, things like that.
Are you a donor?
I am a cadaver donor. So if I get like wrecked in a car accident, they're going to donate my kidneys and stuff to
me
whoever.
too.
Or they donate them to like schools. Like I had a cadaver when I was in class. So that was one of our classes was literally you have 6 hours twice a week. You go in and you have a scalpel, you have bone saws, you have, scrapers, you have whatever you got. And cool, we got to find all of these things in the arm. You got 6 hours to go do it.
Oh.
2 weeks. And if you want to spend extra time outside of class, go for it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've cut open a human from top to bottom, skin, organs, muscles, tendons, nerves,
it like-
skulls, ribs, bones, you name it.
Was it nerve-wracking in the beginning, like when you first did it? Or you were kind of always been like, it's cool, I could just...
I definitely got like the chills and like the hair on the back of my neck was standing up sometimes, or I got like lightheaded a couple of times. Part of that was just smelling formaldehyde, and then part of that was it just gets really humid at certain parts of it.
Yeah.
So if you're not looking at it, we usually cover up everything we're not using with a garbage bag on the other side of it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just in a body bag that we zip up at the end of the day.
Interesting.
But once the one realizing, when we got to the chest and everything, I was cutting, I was doing fine.
Yeah.
We got to like the upper arms and elbows, like whatever. As soon as we got to the hands was
Really?
the hardest part for me to overcome because it was so human. Like I'm picking up your hand to like scrape this fat off of it so I can see all your bones, and I'm essentially holding a hand. And so that was the biggest thing for me to get over, like mentally.
Okay,
was
so the hands.
I had a couple like real hot flashes, and I had to like put it down and take a step back, like make sure like, all right, I'm getting a little like, you know, when you stand up too fast.
Yeah.
Like I was getting a little bit of that. Like I'm sure I was getting flushed in the face a little bit. Like that was the biggest thing for me to get over. And then once we got over that, it was fine. Like I was bone sawing, I was doing nothing.
After that, yeah. I figured it took a while, at least for like you're saying, some body
it took
parts.
me a
like,
couple
it's cool.
classes of the hand to kind of like, all right, I'm over this. There was
Yeah,
one time
gotcha.
I had to step out. No joke, when we had to bisect a penis, I walked out. I was like, I can't do it. That was the one and only time I left the room during the dissection phase. Was we had to take it to get in to see the nerves and see whatever's going on in there and see, you know, we had to get the scrotum out and everything. Like that was the one time I stopped.
You had to get the scrotum out.
Yeah,
too?
because
That's
we had to
crazy.
see the vas deferens. We had to
It
go,
makes
and
sense.
we happened to have a male. There was other with females, so we had to go study on the male and female so we can know the
Yeah, of
different
course,
parts.
of course.
And so that was the
So
one
that
time I was
was
like,
the
I can't do it. I can't slice with like,
You were like,
couldn't.
yeah.
I couldn't. That was the one time I
I
stepped
feel
out
it.
and I was
Hey, I
like, I
feel
can't
it.
do it. But other than that, like the face was a little weird, but by that point we'd been like elbows
Already
deep
through,
in it for a
yeah.
while. I'd already used the bone saw, cut some ribs open. We took out the heart. My
What'd
guy
you
had
guys do for the
my guy had a
face?
pacemaker. Take
Just-
it off. Take
the whole thing.
Yeah, so you actually have one of the really cool things from that. Side note, I'll get back to that patellar thing soon. Don't worry, Haku,
Sorry.
I got you. We got
Got a little
sidetracked, but this
sidetracked.
is
It's interesting.
one of my favorite things that I learned while I was in cadaver lab was, you know, when you take something really like tart, sour, like a Sour Patch Kid or a Warhead,
Uh-huh.
and you put it in your mouth really quick, and then your cheeks hurt.
Yeah.
So what that is that's a salivary response. So you have salivary glands in the side of you. Everyone knows that. You have salivary glands in your mouth. So you actually have them right here in your cheeks. But you have a nerve called your trigeminal nerve, your fifth cranial nerve. What it does is it comes down and it branches out through here, and it goes up through here, and it goes around the side.
Gotcha.
It deals with a lot of motor function. But it also does some sensory innervation to like the side of the face. So what happens is it goes through your salivary gland. So when you have something that initiates your salivary gland really, really quickly, like something very tart, something very sweet, something very sour, like lemon juice or something right away, and you get that kind of puckering sensation,
Yeah.
it's because it's pinching your nerve.
Ah.
Your salivary gland gets hyperactive and it swells up really quickly, and that pinches your nerve, and so that's what causes you that pain. Anyways, that was my one of my favorite like fun facts. Like that's why you're pinching your nerve every time you have it.
Dang it! I just had a tip of my tongue. When you drink a Slurpee too fast, what is it called?
Brain freeze?
Brain freeze.
No, so
Different?
brain freeze is different. Brain
Okay.
freeze is because you have arteries that go up
Okay,
to your
in the
brain
back.
in the
Gotcha,
behind your
gotcha.
throat. And so if you drink it too fast, it actually cools down your blood to just very minutely, but your brain senses that change and it doesn't like that.
It's
And
like,
it doesn't like the pressure change because
Gotcha.
with colder it becomes small. Anyways,
Interesting.
That's
Cool.
that thing.
So yeah, so the tendon.
So the tendon, so they can't actually take cadaver tendons. They usually don't use patellar tendons from cadavers. They usually use straight ACLs, just because something like a patellar tendon or something from there usually has to be built over time. Ligaments are generally just there, and they don't really deteriorate nearly as much, and they use it to strengthen with it. So very more common, a lot more common. They'll use the actual cadaver ACL. Or they'll use your own hamstring or your own patella.
And they'll just kind of.
And then they'll, just strap it in because your ACL is just a string that connects your shin to the back part of your femur. And so they'll take your own patella, just slice out half of the part of the middle, or they'll take your own hamstring. I think James had hamstring, if I remember correctly, when I was talking with you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hamstring.
James had a hamstring. So they'll literally just take out part of your hamstring.
It's cool.
They got plenty of fibers in there. They just,
Just whoop whoop whoop, put it right back in.
yeah.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I never want to tear any of my ACLs.
Yeah, anything. Okay.
See what we got.
I'm trying to go up.
Injury you've ever seen?
Worst injury I've ever seen. I think we've talked about it before when I saw
The kid.
Yeah, the kid who he broke both of his shin and his other shin bone, his tibia and fibula. And I was first onto the scene at a high school football game and held his leg together. He had 2 ankles, basically. He had his first ankle, and then he had an ankle about 6 inches above it where his calf was. And that was kind of that one I like literally blacked out and don't really understand how I didn't freak out in the moment, because I was like 21. I was young. So I was like 21 when that happened. I remember holding him out there. And I held it until the EMTs came over and had an air cast. So if you remember at the football games, the EMTs are like off at the side. And so I ran out there after kickoff, got down there, recognized it, held it, waited for the actual athletic trainer, because I wasn't licensed or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, crap.
I
Saw
just
that. That's not good.
I got to do something.
Saw that, was talking to him, calming him down. And all this time, the athletic trainer was coming over. And as they were coming over, I couldn't like yell, it's broken, because I didn't want to do that in front of the kid or everybody. So she got over here. I was like, yeah, I'm holding this together. Can you get like, what do we do? I didn't even know to get the EMT. She was like, is there like fire department here or like ambulance? I was like, I have no idea. I've not looked up once since I got here. This is it. This is it.
Held broken
And
leg
so, So now that I think about it, like I probably was holding his leg for like 5 minutes.
Just like
way too long.
Move.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Yeah.
Biceps on fire.
Dude, he was on the ground, and I remember he flipped over and I saw his ankle go, and I was like, that looks weird. And so it wasn't his ankle, but yeah, that was probably the grossest. I've seen some like
nuts.
The most like I don't know. Other than that, dislocated fingers are always creepy.
Yeah.
I've had one where there
what do
was
you think about
the
my
finger that was just straight down. The double jointed thumbs are weird. Not a huge. We had a kid just on Friday who he fully tore his pinky, and so his pinky was just like, you could do this, and it was just like. So that was kind of weird, but.
Too, yeah. And then in the chat, someone said, I thought the elliptical was not good for your knees. Is that incorrect?
So the elliptical I like it, preferably as long as you're like appropriately, what's the correct word? Like if you get on a bike and the seat is way too short, it's going to be bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as it's appropriately sized for you and it's not like too big or too small. Ellipticals are kind of not too difficult for it. And people try to fight the elliptical a lot more. So they'll use their arms for it and their legs will kind of go along. Problem is you're like stabilizing yourself with your legs. Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to, as long as you're using it for the appropriate way, it's good for you. I 100% will abide by it. If someone told you otherwise, then you can give me a reason for it, and I may accept your reasoning, but as far as I'm concerned, elliptical and bike is what I go to 100% of the time.
Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good so far.
Haku saying, I've had all of my bodily fluids replaced with Jewel Pod fluids, so I don't think he'd be donor. Please don't donate to Haku if that's the case.
How would it be? What flavor though? What flavor you been rocking on the Jewel Pods? Just let us know.
Yeah, but our Levine, we did hit the face. That one was a little weird, but it was by that time you were pretty deconditioned to it. That was near the tail end.
Did you do anything with the eye? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, got the eye.
Because you had to get the optic nerve, so we popped it out and went look into the backside, and you saw the optic nerve, and how it came through. We took the dome off, so we had a bone saw, and we took a Dremel saw and went all the way around, took that out, and then the professors helped us get all the dura mater and all the because you have a bunch of webbing inside of your brain. So we kind of cleaned it out, so we took it out because we had to use it for practicals. So part of our practical was literally, all right, here's a skull. Mm-hmm. Like you have to find where the cranial nerve 4 runs through, and you're like, okay, well that's here because that's in the eye.
Yeah.
Or cranial nerve 11 runs through. Okay, that's this one. We had literal toothpicks with flags on them that had the numbers, and it was just a list. You got a piece of paper and you walked in and you got a number. Your number was you went to that cadaver, you stood there, and then you flipped your paper over and it said triceps brachii or cranial nerve 8. Or left ventricle. It said all of these just anatomical terms, and you would just go in and take your little toothpick with the number on it, and it was question number 1 was left eyeball, and you'd put in left eyeball, You sit there and, all right, question number 2. And then you'd leave, and then they'd have like the TAs, which were like the DO students or like the MD students would come in, and that was kind of their like, I don't know if they did this for extra credit or what, but they came in and they would look at their piece of paper, and they'd look at your things, then they'd go off and they'd like check off right or wrong, whatever you got. As you were like walking out, it was pretty nerve wracking, but yeah, when you had the face, like you just had to trigeminal nerve, stick it in there. It was kind of easy to see if you were like the last one of the day though, because you could see where everyone else put their like toothpick like, marks, so you can kind of cheat a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. Was that one of your favorite parts of going to school? Doing that? What else
when it was happening, no. Looking back on it now, that was probably the coolest thing that I can. The coolest stories, like the coolest, like I've touched every single part of a human body before, inside out. You know, intestines, stomach, veins, arteries, nerves. I've seen your IT band. You can't stretch it. I don't care what they say. I've pulled muscles apart. I've been able to like scrape things off. I could see like I've messed with ligaments. Like I've felt actual bones. I've seen how so that really helped out just so that I understand it can help explain things to other people better. And that was like my favorite part looking back on it. But it was always, while I was doing it, I was not super juiced about it, let me tell you. I did not want to have to go into that formaldehyde. I threw away the scrubs in the shoes that I used because they're just stuff on the floor. Like any stuff that you could think of, that was on the floor at one point of that room. And so I threw out those shoes. I threw out the scrubs. We had lockers that we would change into. It was like...
See, for me, I couldn't probably get past the smell. I just don't like bad smells. Like, that's just...
You just hang out in it. You get used to it. It's like the dumbest thing, but you get used to it.
Haku said that he saw someone... Let me see.
Cut off 4 fingers?
4 fingers with the radial saw for cutting cow bones. 4 fingers. That's nuts.
Yeah, that sounds like you shouldn't be using that saw anymore. You have an issue where that saw is an issue, and one of those things should get looked at.
Oh my god! Good job, Haku. You ran away.
He grabbed his hand and screamed exactly like you would in a Saw movie. Oh man!
Nah, I couldn't.
That's brutal.
That. Are there any misconceptions about knee injury recovery that frustrate you?
I would have to say the common thing is no pain, no gain. My least favorite term that regular patients use. I say regular patients, I'm not better than anyone, but it's the common misconception is no pain, no gain. And so people end up hurting themselves. If I tell them to do things and I'll be like, all right, so do like X amount of these when you go home, or here's your homework, do these 4 exercises, do them, do them 15 times. I want you to do it twice a day for like 2 days, and I'll see you next time. And they'll come in and be like, I'll be like, hey, how's it going? They'll be like, well, my knee really hurts. And I was like, why? Well, I guess I gave you too much. What happened? They're like, no, well, I did what you told me to, and then it was easy, and so I just did more of them. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah. I was like, how much did you do? And they'll be like, well, I did like 60. I was like, dude, I told you to do 15 twice a day. He was like, well, I did 60 at night.
Because I felt it.
Yeah, so that was it. It was like, well, I didn't feel anything, so I just kept going. And I was like, look, man.
It's not the game.
If it was that easy, I wouldn't have a job. Let's tell you that.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the least favorite thing, especially with knees. Because I feel like people with knee injuries just want to go back to do things, which is like cool. That's like courageous and like admirable.
You can't
rush
the process.
Dog, stop it. Like if I tell you to do... If I'm watching you and I'm like, yes, 15 steps up to 6 inches, that's like good for today. Like we're be good with that. Don't run 50 stairs at home, dog. Stop it. I don't care whether it hurts or not.
You're not gonna be
great. Because the thing that people don't understand is it may not hurt today, but tomorrow it might hurt. Like it's that soreness. Like when you don't use something for so long, it's like lifting heavy once you do like your regular thing again. So that's what people don't understand. So they try to do extra, and then the next day, they'll just absolutely hate themselves. And they'll come in, they'll be like, "Whoa, does this still hurt?" And I'm like, "Well, stop doing that. That's not what I told you to do. That's not what the doc told you to do." And so the no pain, no gain is a common thing that I see mostly with knees. It happens with a lot of other things, hips too. But I just get so many knees that it's like, yo, especially if I sit there and tell someone like, "You're ahead of the curve. Like, stop it. Be happy."
Yeah.
Like, you had your knee replacement. You have full range of motion. Like, be happy. Don't do so much. And they go and be like, well, I walked around like I went to go to a golf course. I went to go hit some balls. Now my knee hurts. And I was like, well, that sounds about just right.
Like, what
you
are
had
you
your knee
doing?
replacement a month ago. That sounds about right that it would hurt after, going to a golf. Like, that's dumb, in my opinion. I told you not to do that. Well, it didn't hurt, so I went to go do it.
Like, cool, you had the, confidence that you could do it, but now look at you.
Yeah, maybe not no pain, no gain, but always the response, but it didn't hurt. And then you went to go do something that hurt. And it's like, just listen.
Nah, yeah,
be happy that it doesn't hurt. Don't take it as like, I should be doing more. Take it as cool, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm at where I need to be.
That's like when people go too heavy at the gym.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even for me, that's like the number one thing is like, why even go heavier? Like, it makes no sense. Your form's off. It's not going to do anything. You just really just wasted your time and energy because you didn't hit it correctly. It's like,
Yeah.
quality over quantity. Always.
Yeah, but that's probably just the non-understanding of what pain is and the kinds of pain, just because no one really knows. Like, do you really know, like, is this a good pain? Is this a bad pain? No. So, like, don't cause it, or like ask somebody.
Yeah.
You have all of the things. Like, patients have my email. I'm not going to respond at like midnight, but like I'll respond the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, like, this hurts or this doesn't hurt. Can I do more? I may like take a while to respond. I get kind of annoying. Actually, don't email me every day, but still, like,
He's actually scratch that.
but like just wait, man. I'm seeing you in 2 days. Chill. Don't go Mission Peak, dog. Stop it.
Yeah. I guess
saw,
Muhammad said that do you get desensitized for all that stuff as well? Like you said, you pretty much did, right?
Not to all of it. So there's still things like if I get fresh surgeries, I still look at it for a second and have to like stare at it to get. Oh, I hate this term, but like to get your mind right going into things. I hate it when people use that term, but like, especially if I'm going in knowing I'm going to have to move something and that scar is going to move a little bit from what I'm doing. Yeah. I have to teach scar mobility all the time you want to shake it, you want to move it a little bit, you got to pick it up. When it's on you, it's not so bad. Like, I could watch me get that done all the time.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
if I see a big cut on me, I'm like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll like deal with it. But like
then
watching
you
on
move
someone
somebody
else and
like, yeah, you're gonna wiggle it right there.
I still get really like I sweat when I do we do what's called an MUA. So it's a manipulation under anesthesia. So that's where if you don't have enough range of motion, even if you are going to, therapy regularly and doing all these things that like they still will put you under. If you don't bend as much, they will literally put you under, numb you up, and just break that shit. So they'll just take it and they will move it as much as you can. So I know if I'm getting someone, I can feel their pain,
That's
but I know
interesting.
that I have to move this because it's my job.
Yeah.
I get like really hot, really sweaty, and it's just like I'm not sweating on someone, but I can definitely feel afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just really
This is
warm
really
right now.
intense.
I don't like this. Like, this is uncomfortable for me. I know you're
Feels
really
like I'm watching
uncomfortable
Cops.
in pain.
I'm just kidding.
But it's a good Step Brothers quote. I respect it. But like that's probably that part, and just like seeing a big surgical cut with like stitching in them on like human skin, I just have to stare at it for a second, and I'll kind of like be okay with it. But like there's still another level. You're never really fully desensitized. You just have like a general understanding. Like you just tell yourself this is fine, or I've done this before. This is a thing that's normal. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of like trust that it's fine. So not fully desensitized.
That's kind of
but
crazy that they put people under and they just kind of
just wreck that. Have you ever seen? You need to watch one of these days. We need to go over like hip replacement surgeries. They
Yeah, I
literally
want to.
stick it in and they take a hammer and they go bing, 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 and they just hammer it into your hip.
Really?
That's why everyone's so sore after. Yeah, we'll watch one of these
Yeah, we
days.
gotta do
We'll
that
go
too.
over and
That's
we'll
cool.
watch one of them because that's wild.
I think I've seen that on a video and I was like, what the hell's going
Yeah,
on?
those
I
are.
didn't know.
I've seen a live one and it is. I like didn't watch the whole way. It was
You're just somebody
unbelievable.
just going hard at the
just
that's
go hard in the
crazy.
paint.
Yeah, it's too much.
The helmet covers. Do the helmet covers that the NFL players wear in practice work? So okay.
Oh, those ones?
So what that is, technically, do they work? Yes. Will you still get a concussion if you run headfirst into something? Yes.
Probably.
What it is more of like a reminder. It's like a brace. It's like a knee brace. It's like an elbow brace. It's like maybe not a sling, but
Yeah, I see what you're
it's
saying.
to remind you. And your head's gonna hit a little bit early, so it's a little unexpected. So you don't like it when your head hits it with that. So what it is it's more of a. Does it work because of the reasons that you think it might work? Kind of, but not really. It's more of a, hey, you have this big thing on your head to remind yourself not to headbutt anybody today. And that's more of what it is. But will it really stop? If you're going to get a concussion from something, will it stop you maybe 20% less, or like enough of a number where it does actually matter, but like a significant number?
Did these come out
Not
like
really.
maybe about a couple years ago, or is this like this year?
Over the helmet
couple.
ones are new. Over the helmet ones
okay.
are like recently within the last like year or so. But they've always had the 7-on-7 ones where they had those where they had like the padded helmets.
Yeah, I thought.
So those are the thing that's been out. People have been wearing those, but never over like actual helmets at practice. So it's like a little. Have you guys worn one of the newer helmets? They are so comfortable
I bet.
compared to
we have the
helmet rashes I used to get from these things. Like these things
No,
form fit.
we
The
had the
bladder is like
originals.
perfectly shaped to your head.
Yeah,
There's like
nah.
17 different air pockets in your head.
Nah, man.
I remember getting the forehead rash every year, double days.
I for sure
Oh my god.
got a mild concussion. I think it was our senior year for sure. Me and this other guy at Wilcox, we were just going head up, and we kept on hitting each other like head first and head first before we
Dude,
do anything.
oh my gosh.
And then we hit each other
Those-
pretty good, and we both kind of were like, "Oh,
Those friggin'
maybe we should
buckets.
stop doing this." Trying to hit each other hella hard head first. You're like, "All right, good game, good game." Doesn't hit that.
Ooh, I like this from Haku. Do you have a sense that something like a bionic knee is futuristic fantasy or closer to reality than we think? With
Has to be
today's
closer.
understanding of the human body and technology.
Has to be closer.
Yeah, I think it's very feasible. I think it's money.
Yeah.
So they have pseudo bionic knee braces. Maybe not bionic. It's your knee, but what they do is they have muscular assist technology. It's called a reciprocating gait orthosis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is called an RGO. And it's for people with spinal injuries. So it's not 100% like
Oh.
reliant on you, but it is a way of, it will sense your shift. So it goes all the way to your hips. It's almost like outside pants. And so what happens is you'll take a step forward and it'll feel that. And so when your heel hits the ground, it'll feel it start to curl in. It'll feel that your heel kind of dig in the ground, and it'll feel that kind of impact and start motion from the left leg.
Uh-huh.
And the right leg will start to go forward for it.
Oh.
And so it's like,
So like you're saying,
it's
it's
almost like
literally
an
just an
active
assist.
assist.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like an
just-
assisted walking, and that's been around for a while, long enough to where I had PowerPoints in school about it.
pretty cool.
To where it's like a regular thing you should know about. And so they have like knee braces that have that can sense minor electric changes, and it will activate the muscle more. So they have one that you can put over your leg and your calf, and that's also more of an advanced way of like a reciprocating gait orthosis in a way where it senses you trying to use your calf, and it'll just be like, F it, we'll use this calf. And so it uses it for you. Kind of like a stim machine where it makes you twitch a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so it sends electrical impulses to get that to where it uses it. And so the same
interesting.
thing with your quad and your hamstring and your calf.
Is this something that could be used for somebody who might have gout in their knee?
Got on their
Or
foot. No, because gout's more of like it's like crystal buildup. So it's uric acid. I hope that's the right one.
Maybe.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a uric crystal buildup inside of it, and it just becomes like stone.
Oh,
And then
got
it
it.
swells up and it gets this bigger. So it's not like muscular. It's more like bony osseous anatomy type thing that's in there. But to go back, bionic knees are pretty close. The like
That makes sense. I mean, it's already 2022.
They're like why am I losing the orthosis? The ones you have like amputation. What's the word? Why am I not getting that word? The fake legs. Like the fake legs are already pretty good.
Oh, prosthetics.
Jesus, there it is. Thank you, everybody, except the one who should know. But like, yeah, the prosthetics are already like pretty advanced. Like they have ones where it has a lot of motion in it. They have ones where it responds to it. They have some that have like pseudo hydraulics in them. I even saw a dude at Lake Elizabeth. We were at the dog park with my better half and our dog, and I saw this dude, and he had like a knee brace, and it had like red like tubing
Around it?
Yeah, it looked like Bane's mask, but it was on his knee.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what is... So I literally went over. I was like, dude, I've never seen that before. Like, what is that? He was like, oh, I got it off of the Chinese eBay. And it was, I was like, what? And so I guess
Chinese are advanced in that.
I guess it's just like if you want to drop the dose. So what it is,
Okay.
it has like a battery in it. It's rechargeable, and what it does is just pumps air into the different cells.
Oh, what?
So it's like an air compression thing.
Oh.
So I guess it's cool. Like, is it better than ACE? I don't think it's better than anything, but it's like the technology is there to
It
have
is
like
moving in
air
that
assisted
direction,
hydraulic movement
That's pretty
off
sick.
of Chinese eBay. Like docs definitely have bionic knees ready to go on lock.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but it's the thing like you're saying. Like, if you have enough money,
Yeah.
probably already already has it for sure, easily.
Oh yeah, Magic Johnson wanted a bionic knee. He's getting a bionic knee. Like that's what's happening.
Ever hear of the story of the first attempted brain transplant?
No.
First attempted brain transplant
Yeah.
story. No.
So,
Yeah, hit him with the mic. I want to hear this.
and it's a true story too. So there was this guy who wanted to. It was himself who because who's gonna fund it, right? So he funded. He put all the money up. He was like this Russian like billionaire, which over there's probably trillionaire with all this everything he has, and he put up like something like 2-3 at first. He put like $3 billion up for a doctor to do a brain transplant of him to like another body, right? And they finally found some doctors. There's like a lot of protesting of it, like they were gonna get this bar, but like the bread was too nice,
Yeah, what
right?
are you gonna do? Not do it?
So they started by testing with rats, right?
Classic.
And had to have
Classic
gone through
science.
like at least a small species of rats because they just kept going through so many, right? Finally, they were able to. So it was like they would die after like the third day. So they were able to get it, and I think they would be resting or they would be like literally dead for like 3 days, and they was like come back to life. It was like some weird shit like that. But they kept dying after a while. They finally got one to actually live. It was like past like 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
At this point, he's had to put in like an extra $5 billion in funding. Like it just kept getting like harder and harder. They needed what it was too was they made a special knife, like a special cadaver, that was literally a knife, a cadaver, or not, it's not cadaver. It was
Scalpel.
a scalpel, a scalpel, and it was made of crystal diamond. And it's the sharpest like thing that's ever like knife that's ever been made for medical purposes. They had to make special tools, like the shit was like way. And finally, like 2 weeks before he was gonna do it, he backed out because the whole time I think he just wanted like kids or something. Like I think he just wanted to have families, like lonely gazillionaire. And he was like, "Wait, I have
Lonely?
purpose to live for." Like they got to make a movie off that shit. But they were that close to
I'm
actually
in.
attempting a brain transplant.
Damn. I've never heard that story. That's wild.
Pulled out because he probably was like, "Nah, I need to live.
That's wild.
I have hella money. What do I need to die for?"
Oofda.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Hey,
I
man.
don't know.
If you want to, you got that dough, like, F it. If I'm at the edge of my, like, I don't know if I want my brain if I'm that old, though. If I'm old enough to want a brain transplant, I don't think I want it. I don't want to be there. I think Haku had, or someone had, Timo, what's
what?
your go-to grunt when you're lifting heavy weight? Hit him with it.
Grunt? Oh, I don't even have a grunt. I don't grunt.
You do a sit,
I
straight quiet.
I blow out really hard, extremely hard, like a really hard, like a firm. So it's funny because I did this in the yoga class that I did at EDC at Camp EDC. He called it purging of air out of your mouth, and we would purge it. So I purge it out. Why, you think I grunt, or do I have a grunt? I don't know. You work out with me, or used to. Do I have a grunt? I usually don't. I don't think I have a grunt. I hate when you grunt.
You go, and then you blow out.
Yeah, blow out. So I purge my air. Yeah, not like a crazy grunt. I won't be sending off any lunk alarms at Plateau Fitness. So Plateau Fitness knows for sure I will not be sending off anything.
I can see you got one.
Do you have a grunt?
I don't know. I was so to myself when I went to the gym that I didn't like bringing attention to myself. I did have a grunt. I kind of had like a little primal yell when I used to do like discus and stuff when I was in high school. But I think that was just because everyone else did, and I was like, I want to be with you guys. All the like big linemen did. I always wanted to be a lineman out here. I always thought it was the coolest thing to have like the lineman like stamp of approval. I will never forget the time in a game where I It was a running back screen, and I came over and saw the safety. Anyways, doesn't really matter. But there was a lineman coming up, seeing he was going to go get this guy. I sprinted in front of him, like speared this defender and like pancaked him all the way to where I like did a somersault over, like the best block I've ever made in my entire life. Obliterated him, got up, and was like kind of dizzy because I just did a somersault and hit my head into the ground. I remember got up, and 2 of our linemen came over and like patted me on the back and then gave me one of these. The elbow.
Oh, the hook.
Where you hook elbows instead of giving a high fives. Oh my god! I will never forget that moment.
That
in
is the stamp of approval.
One of my
the
greatest,
linemen.
the highlight of my high school career. It was not a great high school career, but that was the highlight of my high school career. Was getting that elbow stamp of approval.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I just wanted to be cool, so I would like. I don't know. It was like a deep like but like as I was throwing something. So it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it's primal or it wasn't like that great or anything.
Nah, I don't have one of those either.
That was it. I don't really grunt. I don't really go against people. I support it after plateau fitness. I support grunting. Do it.
Grunts.
Who cares what anybody thinks about you? I got headphones in anyways, man.
Yeah, if you have like a cool but you have to be a kind of a big dude to grunt though.
Right? Like,
I mean, that's
if
cool.
someone looks
Like,
at me and I'm grunting, they're like,
why?
come on, man.
You're putting up 30 pounds right now.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are you doing that?
40-pound curl? Get the hell
Yeah,
out
but
of
if somebody's out here
Stop it.
stacking 345s about to hit
Yeah.
bench press and they're grunting, they deserve to grunt.
Yeah, like
They
I'll
deserve
grunt
to
for you. I'll
Yeah.
grunt
Oh,
with you.
yeah.
Let's go. Like I'll start yelling at
For
you
sure. That makes more
to
sense.
start yelling
that way
more.
it makes more sense. But if you're just a regular dude in there grunting for 30 pounds, like, come on. Can't do it. Set off the lunk alarm. Ooh. Can't believe they still really have that. Lunk alarm, Plateau Fitness, Planet Fitness for our newer viewers. Shout out the people in the chat as well too. Waffles for lunch is.
Grunting in the gym is like you have nobody can do it or everybody has to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if everybody's doing it, it's that kind of gym, and it's like
Yeah, like I get it. Like you just understand I'm turning my music up, or I'm like, I got noise canceling next time. It's fine.
like when you got chalk in the gym, you can grunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're really
if you're appropriately using the chalk, you're not like throwing it up in the air and stuff. Like,
there's one cool thing
grunt
that I
as
kind
much
of
as
saw
you
recently.
can.
We're talking about chalk. My homie, shout out Saquon. Saquon actually, he's actually a bigger dude, and he likes to lift heavier. He's like a strength dude. So one day I kind of ran into him, and then he was about to hit bench, and he asked me for a spot. He was like, "You want some chalk?" And I was like, "I mean, I don't really need a chalk to like a spot," but I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "No, but it's some new stuff. It's called it's like liquid chalk." So you literally just put it on like if it was like gel or whatever, pour a little bit right there. You just kind of go like this, and then it becomes like
That kind of makes
chalk.
sense if it's like just dehydrated chalk. Like once you think about it, chalk's a bunch of dust.
It literally, and it just formed that way. And the
Interesting.
grip, it was really good grip. And I was like, wow, I could use this. I didn't. The reason why I didn't like chalk is you got to carry a bag of chalk. You know what I'm saying? That shit's gonna get everywhere.
You
You
just
know
got
what
like
I'm
a
saying?
slab.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, yeah, I found this at Walmart. Yeah, just seen it on there, put it on, and I was like, this. But it's good grip. I was like, okay, cool. Now it makes sense why people are out here using chalk and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you ever use lifting gloves? Is that like a thing that you do, or why would or wouldn't you? 'Cause
I was so. I think when we kind of started, me and James, we were just kind of like, oh, no, we don't use nothing, just bare hands. Yeah, so I got callus. And after the callus kind of got in there, I'm like, my hands could grab anything at this point now. Yeah,
That's
so
fair.
no, because gloves start to stink. Anybody who wears
Dog,
gloves,
I have
wash
the
your
most
damn
notorious
gloves.
stinky glove hands
Oh my
of
god,
all time.
that is like one of the
I'm
worst
sorry.
smells. No, you gotta wash your gloves. Everybody who wears lifting gloves, wash them, mother suckers, please.
I think I was telling
Please,
you guys I
for
used
the
to put
people.
those the little balls, the deodorizing balls you put in shoes. I put that in my gloves. It was so bad. I felt so bad every time.
Yeah, you just sweaty palm.
I'd get off my hands. I'd like be done with practice or like a game or something. I'd get in the car and I would just be like, oh, I can smell my own hands. It's gross. I can't believe it.
No gloves. I can't do gloves. Gloves. I don't think I've used anything else.
Bless you.
Never wore knee braces. Never really had to.
Like wraps or anything.
Wraps, not too much either. Nah.
So I'd have a question for you actually, or anyone else in chat who has a thing. I know in CrossFit, probably 7-8 years ago, they started getting really big with doing like really, really, really tight knee wraps with like elastic bands. Do y'all remember that? Am I tripping?
Are you talking about like the old, the only person I always think about like those elastic bands is the old like cowboy lineman. It's crazy tight. Are you talking about that?
No. So I'm talking about like literally like I remember. So I used to go to a CrossFit gym for a little bit with a bunch of friends. No, it's like wrap. They used to like almost like ace wrap where they just wrap it around the knee, but they do it like as tight as you possibly could get it, and they just sit there and be like, yeah. And I feel like I'd be cutting off blood flow or whatever it's doing, and they would just do it, and it was like, I think the reasoning behind it was supposed to be like flushing things out, like you'd restrict the blood flow and then let the blood flow go all the way in so it would flush out any soreness or stuff. You'd let it build up, and I never understood why they would do that, and I forgot about that till now. That was
and it was a CrossFit thing.
It was at CrossFit. Like they were
big people ever doing that stuff?
Yeah,
nah, see, I never really got into CrossFit.
But they would do it on like one leg, and I'm like, what the? I don't know what's going on. So if anybody remembers those,
it only reminds me of the stuff that we
hit
did.
me with it.
But that's different. It's not an elastic band. Yeah, we were doing something way different. That's the only thing I could be like.
No, it wasn't like an ace wrap. It wasn't like a hamstring sleeve. It wasn't like a compression sleeve. It was legitimately like they put it on, left it on for like 30 seconds, and took it off. But like I saw it everywhere in that gym where we went to, and I remember seeing it around like CrossFit areas, like when the CrossFit games first started being like aired and stuff, and people would do it, and I'm like, what is going on? I didn't understand what it was. I just didn't care enough at the time also to look things up. So I was like, whatever. Like, I'll let these people do it. I'm just not going to do that. That was my, like, my attitude towards CrossFit. I was like, I'm going to do everything I want to do. And if I, like, look at it and I'm like, that looks dumb or that looks dangerous, I'm definitely not going to do that. I wouldn't do it. And so they did, like, the weird pull-ups. And I was like, I've dislocated my shoulder before. Not going to do that. That doesn't sound good. So I'll do, like, regular pull-ups and take, like, 10 times the time. But I was like, all right, whatever. We'll do that instead. Or, like, the... There was another one. I think it was like a weird clean and jerk thing that they would do where they would just literally like bring it up to the front to do it. And I was like, no, I'll do a press because I don't trust my shoulders to stay. But it was mostly shoulder stuff. Now that I look back on it, I was like, I didn't trust my shoulders to stay in place.
In the way me and James were going in the beginning of our fitness journey, like we probably would have gone like crazy and done all the crazy CrossFit stuff if it wasn't for Mario. And Mario would probably, thanks to him, he told us like, you don't need to do
the right thing.
None of that shit. And it was funny too because we were probably like working out like we were doing CrossFit because we didn't know what the hell we were doing, so we were just doing a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, nah. Thanks to Mario, we probably would have hurt ourselves easily.
James Levine was here saying, "Have you guys ever swung an axe before?"
Swung an axe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where? What were you doing?
Chopping wood.
Where were you chopping wood?
At my grandma's house. So my you live in Milpitas. So my family is a long line of landscapers, and we do a lot of stuff. I've even had to climb trees and chop trees down and stuff like that too. So yeah, my grandma actually,
just like the lumberjack games.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's actually kind of cool, I guess, now that I think about it. But yeah, learning how to swing an axe correctly. I actually do a motion like that at the gym because to work the back and shoulder and just like the mobility of it. Anyways, and core, a lot of core actually in that swing. But yeah, she lived in Sunnyvale and she had about maybe half an acre of land and she had cherry trees. So there was a couple trees that were kind of like hella old, and so we had to chop it down. So yeah,
good old George Washington cherry tree.
Yeah, so that was fun. That's cool.
Yeah,
and also using a sledgehammer a lot too. So kind of the same thing too.
Oh, like using like the chisel with the sledgehammer through it, or just like in general, just breaking a bunch of stuff with the sledgehammer.
We had to break concrete, and then when you put down other. To break the ground too, there's like a big long metal rod that you use, and you just chisel it down that way. Big ass chisel, I guess, for the nothing that small. But yeah, so have you ever gone to one of those axe throwing thing?
Yes, I have thrown axes lots of times. Actually,
is it cool or what?
Yeah. So when I lived when I was in Idaho for one of my rotations at grad school, I lived with a family there, and their son was really into axe throwing. So they were just in the middle of Idaho. What are you gonna do? They just built an axe throwing target in their backyard, and so we would bring it out every once in a while, and he was just like in an axe throwing league, which I realize is like the widest thing I may have ever said in front of anyone here. That's saying a lot. But he's in an axe throwing league, and so he was like, "Yeah, you want to throw axes?" I was like, "That sounds awesome." Yes. Does anybody said no to that?
No. It's kind of like if you ever like thrown a ninja star.
It's so cool.
Seems cool.
But like
yeah,
throwing
throw a
axes
couple
is like, it takes a little bit to get the hang of it, but it's actually not that hard once you kind of get.
just the motion, how it
Yeah.
the weight of it, I guess. That's
Yeah,
what it
like you
is. Is it
can at
pretty
least
heavy?
you can hit the target and make it stick in.
Yeah.
They're like heavy enough.
We're talking about 7 to 10 pounds, maybe a little bit lighter. 5. We're at a 5 at the head of the.
I'm trying to think. I would say like 5 to 7's a good.
5 to 7 rounds.
Just because it's
probably.
mostly the head,
Yeah, exactly.
just the
Yeah.
axe tip. That's like swinging it. So like, yeah.
We gotta do a Painter Gain San Jose one.
There,
And
yeah,
see-
there's an axe throwing around
Yeah,
here.
there's an axe throwing. We gotta try to do that one.
But yeah, I have chopped wood before though. I had an uncle who used to have a vineyard in Sonoma area or like
oh,
somewhere up there. But yeah, we chopped wood once. It's more like just make sure you hit it. Don't miss the wood
Yeah,
because
in
it's
the
easy
chat-
to break as long as it goes down.
yeah. Todd said he missed
Oof, that's
when he
tough.
did it. So you just did. So when you missed, like, did you just completely whiff, or were you kind of close?
It's that. I feel like that would hurt a little bit. Like if you hit
The other part of it, like, 'cause it was on top of
the sound, the side. Oh, so you hit like the stump. Okay. Because I don't know. Because that feel I haven't missed like that before. Not I'm not like good at axe. I just haven't done it. But
Yeah.
like, or I haven't done it enough. But like, I feel like it's not like hitting a baseball at the end of the bat where like it hurts. Any of y'all done that? Like hitting like. Getting like the tail end of a bat or like trying to swing it like a
vibration?
slider.
Oh, that
Oh, it
shit
hurts.
sucks,
Oh,
dude.
I hate that.
All full
But-
might, everything. You're just
So it ain't like
completely
that. It
whiff?
doesn't hurt like that. It's just like kind of sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I missed. That
James
sucks.
Levine said, the person who changes the light bulb on the top of the Golden Gate Bridge has ice through their veins.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Especially
Hey,
because
wait.
it's windy. I
Y'all-
bet you it's hella windy.
Y'all remember when the Lumberjack games were big, like on like Spike TV and
Yeah,
stuff, and like
hell yeah.
VH1? The
Yeah.
original CrossFit games, dog.
Where they used to do the log
roll. Yeah, they would like fight
try
each
to
other.
Yeah, that shit was
Dude,
hard.
bring that back.
Yeah, they gotta bring that back. Actually,
I don't hate on CrossFit games or anything, but that Lumberjack stuff was hard.
that was cool.
I remember they used to like weight it and they'd be like 3, 2, 1, and they'd go and they'd go.
I want to say there was like a log toss. Oh yeah, that was sick.
They had to like
That
get
was
6
sick.
different chops of wood in time.
Yeah, quick.
Oh my
quick.
god, those were so sick. Or the guys that would climb up the pole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the ones running on the log.
Yeah, the little log run.
Or
You'd be
the
like,
ones that
"Ah, I
would
got
use
you.
like
Oh, I
they would
got you."
stick their feet in it and then they would stand at the bottom. They'd use like the rope. They go coom 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 coom, and they'd like climb all the
Oh,
way to the top of
yeah,
it,
heck
like touch
yeah.
the bell and then just like slide down.
They got to
like
bring
it's-
that back.
Oh,
for
man,
sure.
those
I
were
think that's what I'm
sick.
saying. I think there was a log toss too, where the big ass dudes were just tossing.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? But because
That-
there's a CrossFit game where
They
you
used to have that. They
grab
used to
it
have the
and you
world's
toss it over
strongest
it.
man.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Man,
think they
the
still,
original CrossFit
the Boulder
games,
guys,
man.
yeah.
They used to just be pulling big rigs for no reason. Like why?
I thought it was funny too because they would be
Crazy.
like,
You used to be holding 2 like
Pulling-
giant slabs of 2 like Easter Head Island heads. Just
they'd be pulling like
Oh my
small
God.
forward focuses real quick, just pulling it. That was cool. They were pushing big ass like tour buses, trying to get across a certain feet. That's crazy. They gotta bring those out. See, I respect people who do like when you do strength training and you do things like that. You know what I'm saying? Not just to like show off, like,
Dude, that's
oh, I
wild.
stack hella plates. Like, no, I push,
I lift up
push
logs,
tour buses.
bro.
That's what I'm saying. Those guys,
Your
those guys
truck can't do this, dog. I'm doing this.
this guy, those guys deserve all the grunts.
Oh man. Wild.
Those are the grunt guys. If you're not as big as those guys, I don't care. You're not impressing nobody. You've got 6 plates on your leg press. Yeah, well, this guy's bench pressing or leg pressing like a whole car. So,
This guy's moving what moved you to here.
and those fools are pretty big too. It's pretty cool to see that. Actually, yeah, we gotta bring that back. I wonder when they do it. We gotta find out when they have those competitions.
We have the
And
real questions though from Mo. Do you prefer the crossed arm version of the crossed arm or the spaced version of the DX motion?
We're talking about the suck it.
Yeah.
Ooh, spaced or crossed? Nah, I'm more crossed on it. I think the
I will
cross
have
is
to
a little
go.
more.
I'm a cross, but that's mainly because of X-Pac.
That makes sense.
Like
Yeah, it makes
because the wrestler X-Pac, like,
Yeah.
the Bronco Buster. Oh,
The X.
loved it.
Yeah, Painter Gate approved.
I feel like the spaced one though, you can do like a quick one.
Yeah, double one.
Jab one out. Like, get somebody.
Yeah. I feel like that's like a Ben Stiller ass motion though.
Yeah.
Like, he did that in dodgeball probably.
See, I'm thinking like John Rocker probably did that.
Yeah.
Like a picture.
A sneaky? Okay, so that's cool. If you're on national TV, like you want to sneaky suck it, like that's cool.
Like you can't do a full one because you're at the fucking World Series.
That's fair. No cameras on though. I'm going cross arm, but like just
That
so I
makes sense.
could like more quantity over quality of over suck it's. I'm going. Yeah, you're right.
It's flexible that way.
Yeah, if I'm a professional athlete, I'm going space.
Haku said a space version in a good.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, it's good in a pinch right before you get hit by a
chair.
chair.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, just
It's boom, bam.
get clocked out.
Nah, I want the emphasis. I want crossed arm. Yo, you know what it is.
Yeah.
X-Pac was kind of wild for the Bronco Buster, just to kind of throw that out there. And Rikishi was
Dude,
wild
Rikishi,
for the
the stink face, dog.
Stink face.
Legendary signature moves. I remember trying to do those in the. I remember doing the stink face in like the WWE video game, and like in the video, I was like, "Why is this guy losing health?" And I like sat there and I realized I was like, "Okay,
He can't
that guy
breathe.
should be losing health.
He can't breathe.
He's literally dead,
He's literally dead.
dude. That
that
Rikishi
one,
in real life is
what
wild.
other one was kind of just, Mankind.
Mr. Sacco?
Yeah, see, exactly. That was just
Sticking a hand sock in someone's mouth,
Nah.
wild.
had it there.
The
for-
Kurt Angle ankle breaker, my God.
yeah,
He's
that,
just
that one's
literally
pretty
breaking
bad.
an ankle.
Yes, the ankle lock. The other one that would always kind of hurt when, like, even when you try to use it was the Triple H pedigree, because it hurts you because you went to your knees when you
Oh,
try to do
yeah.
it as a kid, and then the person receiving it just, you
Don't feel anything.
Yeah. That one's all bad.
The other one was the Scotty Juhadi, the worm.
That was cool.
The Scotty Juhadi and who was his
The one got popping.
Scotty Juhadi? Who was the other guy
Could you
in
hit?
that?
Can you guys hit the what? Where?
Was that the other guy? I don't remember.
Maybe you might be right. It sounds something. Scotty Tuhati and something like that. Yeah, it was pretty close. I can't remember either.
Grandmaster Sex.
Grandmaster
Okay, it
Texas?
is Graham. Yeah. He was
Oh
right.
yeah, there you go. Muhammad had it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the Scotty Juhadi. I did the worm at my 8th grade promotion dance. Through the middle of a floor, I had a lineup of people.
Sick.
Yeah.
See, everybody got that one down. You know, you got really good at it if you go backwards. If you
Yeah,
go
I
backwards.
could.
You
It
do
hurt so. It hurt so much more
because
though.
it's like different. It's a
Yeah, you
different
just
move.
like
and
it
you
hurts
push off
so much more.
You push
Yeah.
off. I remember
The
that.
worm had a certain shock value. Like, whoa, he's really doing the worm. Like,
I gotta hit that at EDC.
He
one
probably
time.
broke his phone.
No, not on that floor. Never mind. Not on that floor. Never mind. Come back up. You just see a whole bunch of baggies on my chest. Where'd you get that?
Couple of needles here. And there. Like,
You
it's
never
fine.
know. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Oh shoot!
What-
R.I.P. Grandmaster Sexy. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Damn. Well,
How did he pass? Dude,
I don't know.
well, if you know, Mo, let us know in the chat. Dang, RIP.
The too cool dance
What,
with Rikishi. I don't know what that
Have
is.
you ever?
I feel
I'm
like
trying
I
to think
should.
if there's like an injury that we might have saw when we were all
Oh,
kids.
That's right. I do remember that.
Did anybody get hurt?
Well, the Marcus Lattimore. That was the first, like, maybe not the first, but that was like the most memorable early knee injury I ever saw was a Marcus Lattimore knee.
No, I'm talking about like in wrestling.
Like wrestling? Oh,
Live? I don't know because they always pre-recorded it, so you never saw an injury.
No. Not Chris Benoit. I feel like someone went through a table or something and got really, like, had to get stretchered out.
I mean, I could see that.
This is
happening.
like late 90s.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
they
trying
were
to think.
like jumping off
The cage matches, yeah.
Like, they're jumping off the top. Like, they were cracking.
Was it Jeff Hardy? I have no idea who. You could put any name and I just wouldn't remember, but
I think I've only seen.
was it Kurt Angle that got hit with the metal chair and it actually like fucked him up?
Probably. I mean, I don't remember it.
Sooner or later, right?
Yeah,
it
like,
ha-
you get hit with enough
They're
chairs.
just stuntmen out there. Anything could go wrong at one moment. It's like, why is my arm like this? Oh, well, you just jumped through a table. It's like, nah, come on. Yeah, no, I think I've talked about this on the previous Painter game, but the craziest one I saw is it was backyard wrestling, and a dude did a front flip off the top turnbuckle, but his legs stayed, and his knees went opposite way. So they didn't bend like this; they went opposite. That was gross. That was gross. It was two of them. I couldn't watch it. I saw that one time. I couldn't replay it. I was like, nah, I'm cool. That's gruesome. I can't watch shit like that. Actually, I'm not really good at watching the pain thing.
Yeah, you get used to it. When you get into art, the thing was like we
just
had.
oversee?
I remember Mostert's broken arm. Mostert's broken arm 2 years, 3 years ago. 2 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. I remember watching that. I was in class still, and so that was the thing. We kept rewatching it because all the dudes would see it, be like, "Oh yeah, broken arm," and then we replayed in class, obviously. Or I'm trying to think of the Seahawks something lane. They had a corner that went upside down, put his hands down to break his fall, and then his arm just went fully sideways. Something Lane, Jeremy Lane, like 41. Yeah, you remember what I'm talking about?
I think I know you're
I
talking
remember
about.
seeing that one a lot.
Yeah.
I saw that one a bunch. The Kevin Ware, the Louisville broken leg. Very, very high def.
Livingston was the worst one I've ever seen.
The Sean Livingston
yeah,
knee.
that was pretty bad.
All time has to be like any of those times in like the NHL where like a blade.
A jugular, yeah. Gets slit.
So that's where that fear comes from.
Yeah, there's a documentary on the first, like, maybe not, I don't know if it's the first, but the like goalie who got his shit cut. Like, there's a documentary on it, and he talks about it, about like his just life after that, and like being known as that guy, and also like just actually having your artery cut, like what goes through your head. And they talk through like the trainer, and like as dumb as it sounds, the trainer like saved his life easily by like knowing what to do quickly. And I'm like, would I have known what to do immediately? I don't know. I might have been trying to figure out what's wrong. I don't think I would have automatically thought like, oh, it's jugular. I probably would have been like, where is he bleeding from? And then it might have been too late by the time I saved him, to be honest. Like, that guy was dope.
Haku said that a recent bad one he could remember is Cesaro. He did like a leapfrog move over somebody and landed teeth first into the turnbuckle, smashed his whole face.
Oof. The Twith Superman. Mo.
That's crazy. Yeah, and see what I'm saying. You're supposed to get hurt all the time too.
Yeah,
it's pretty
those
easy to
are
break
wild.
your collarbone, right?
Yeah,
one
very
of them?
easy.
Yeah, that's
one of the most common.
Most common.
Most common motorcycle injury, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, like it. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
is
makes
the most common. Just because when you try to roll, you just snaps
I
it.
probably should have broke my collarbone or some type of bones last time I went to ATV riding for my birthday, and I just hit a turn too hard, and then there was like a little dip, and I just started rolling. I just hit the side of my shoulder hella hard.
Yeah, it's
But
almost
I got
better
lucky.
if you don't know what's happening. It is better if you don't know what's happening.
I was just like
getting
twisting, I was
blindsided
like, oh my God.
hurts after the fact, but you don't like ever actually get injured from a blindside hit usually.
Because you don't tense up, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
So that's why there's a lot of documented cases of people like surviving tornadoes. Just because they go in and then the tornado is
They're in
like,
a tornado.
Yeah, but they black out in it. And so they just get thrown like a friggin' rag doll.
Eesh.
And they hit and they just roll and they survive.
That's crazy.
Just because like their body absorbs, like they have bruises and stuff, but they don't have anything more than like a cracked rib or two. Like they don't get like messed up, a bunch of torn ligaments here or there. Like that's it.
pretty wild, dude. Could you imagine going through a tornado and just coming back out like?
No, I'd black out. 100% would black out.
Nuts.
You know something like it's slim, but it happens. Like 5% of skydiving accidents where the parachute doesn't go off actually survive.
Yeah, because they black out before they get there.
Is that the?
You absorb, like, you're not surviving many, 5%, but because you black out before you get there, you just become a rag doll. And if you land at a certain angle or a certain way, then you can kind of absorb the blow and just not have like lethal injuries. Like you're going to be fucked still. But like,
That's crazy.
yeah, that's why they tell you, that's why in a car crash is to like, as long as you don't really know what's going on, it's not like the end of the world as long as you literally don't get your shit caved in. But
Yeah.
like getting hit with an airbag and stuff, as long as you're like moving, you absorb a
Interesting.
lot of, your body's designed to absorb everything, but we're too stupid to do it.
We're too conscious to be.
Yeah. Once you think about it, like you look in the NFL, like people take all these wild, crazy hits. Or like any sport, like you've seen people get like absolutely obliterated and they just pop up like, man, that sucked. Whatever.
That is true.
Like we've all kind of taken those hits where you're like, man, I should
probably should-
I should be on the
things were
ground
broken.
longer. Like this sucks. But like you
I
get
got
up,
hit
you're
by
like,
Brian
all right.
Wilson a couple times. I could have been like, "Yep, I should have broke a bone
Yeah,
right there."
I just didn't see it coming. Like that's cool. Like I've been flipped, and I like landed like on my thing, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know when I was hitting the ground. I didn't know what was going on. And so when I hit the ground, it just it hurt, but it was like okay, like I'm chilling. Like I'm gonna stay here, make sure like I have all of my limbs together, and then I'm gonna get up and walk away. So that was Yeah, that's why you
That's
do that. Your
interesting.
body's designed to absorb all of this.
That's why they say a lot more people when they're drinking and driving and they go through the car crash again. Same thing. They didn't even know they went through the car crash and they end up surviving. Come out straight walking.
Mo, the whole point of blacking out is you don't know how to do it or how it happens. So consciously blacking out, if someone knows how to do that, you need to be studied for science.
Just like,
I'm in though. Like,
yeah, Uncle Bernie, or what's that movie?
try to pass out.
Weekend at
Weekend at
Bernie's.
Bernie's, yeah,
Dude, just turn into Bernie's real quick.
Haku, Dr. T, would you have any interest in being a cut man for an MMA event?
Ooh.
I
Are
mean,
you licensed to be a cut man? Could you? Well,
I guess. I don't know.
Would that work?
I don't know if you need to be licensed for that. Like, I feel like I should. I'm like, probably.
So you would know what to do.
Like, enough. I don't know like, would I know which cuts to put Vaseline on? Not really. I'll just put on everything. But, like, I wouldn't be a very good cut man.
Oh, somebody had a gnarly eye cut, and literally that's what the guy
There's
did.
just a glob, yeah.
He just picked up a whole
So you
glob, and he got the Q-tip and just kind of closed it and sealed it and just said,
Yeah.
held it, and they were like, all right, it's time, and he just let go and said, all right, go fight.
Yeah, like, do I know the general reasoning behind all of it? Yeah, but would I be very good at it? I just do more of it. Like, all of my guys are just going to have, like, a ring of Vaseline around their face. And they're just, punches are going to just glide off,
He's
dog.
just gonna have like 2 hands full of Vaseline as soon as they come out in the corner.
Just like slap them.
Where does it hurt?
I'm in.
Dr. T.
That's a big ass cut. That's my eye. It's not a cut.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, like I do hella reresearch before going
Of
into
course.
it, but like,
Would you just so you would do it?
yeah, if like the event, like if it presented itself, like I guess I would. I don't know if I'd want that for a career, but like, sure, I'll do that once or
I
twice.
see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's cool. Like I did a volunteer event for the under 14 or under 12 like USA gymnast tryouts when it was at Santa Clara Convention Center, and that was like a dope experience. Do I want to do that? Hell no, but that was like sick.
Cool. Yeah.
It was sick
cool
once.
thing.
It's like going to like the championship parades. Like
That's cool.
I'm going to one. I went to one Giants parade. I went to one Warriors parade, and I'm never going again.
Yep. Just get it out of your system.
Having said that, are there any like bucket lists like, oh, I could do this?
Events?
That'd be a cool thing to do.
An NFL game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be like a sick, like even if I'm like a volunteer onto it or like a guy. I don't know. I had a small chance to do, if I wasn't in school, I had a chance to do the Rugby World Cup that it was here 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
That would have been cool.
I knew one of the head athletic trainers that were doing the event, and I could have like been an assistant. I would have been like a water bitch or something, but like I could have been there and at least been like an assistant there. Because technically in California, you do not need a license to say you're an athletic trainer. You can be hired as an athletic trainer without a certification from a school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, you can. Like, I don't know if anyone's going to pay you, but like there's some events where you are required to have a certified athletic trainer on staff, but to say you are an athletic trainer legally, you don't have to be certified or anything. Now, to hire someone, you can say we require a certified athletic trainer, and then you're SOL, like you're screwed, but like you don't have to have it. It's the weirdest thing. So I had like classmates in there, and they're like, what'd you do before? I was like, oh, like I used to help out like the athletic trainers and stuff, like tape and like be at games and be like their assistant on the sideline. They're like, oh, I was an athletic trainer. I was like, really? And I used to think, I was like, oh, wow, like you're kind of ahead in the game. And then we get into like actual sports, like diagnostic studies, and you don't know a thing about it. I was like, I thought you were an athletic trainer. Like, yeah, I just said I was. I would like tape people up sometimes and like give them ice. And I was like, you son of a, you liar. You were,
It's like, I didn't lie. They
you're a
just said
bad person for saying that to me. I was like very upset. I was like cut to the core because I like held that deep. I was like, oh, like that's cool. Like,
Actually,
way to go, you furthering your career and being a doctor after going to be an athletic trainer. But no, you're a liar and you're a fake. Mel,
Fucking Mel.
Melanie. God.
Yeah, that's weird. It's kind of funny too. I found out recently from some of the other trainers that there's a 24-hour class you could pay for your certification.
For what?
for being a personal trainer.
Yeah, I don't trust a lot of personal trainers.
Dude, I was mind blown. I was like, wait. You'd be like, if you study for the class, you do all this, you could take the test and it's open book.
Yep.
I was like,
That's like getting your CPR certification now. It doesn't really mean anything.
I was tripping.
I
was
hate
like,
to say it. I don't trust a single personal trainer without like
That was
actually talking with
crazy.
them or knowing what they're doing. I don't
I was
trust a
like,
single
wait,
one.
so you're telling me.
So all the ones at 20, like maybe not all the ones. I don't know what the requirements are for like.
No, a lot. Well, I would say a majority.
A lot of the
people are not
24-hour
paying
fitness
the
don't know what
extra.
they're doing.
They're not paying the extra. That's why I was because that's what I first thing I wanted to do because I want to go into trying to go work with athletes at a college or something like that, like something
Yeah,
way
it's
more.
tough,
So
like a certified
the
strength
only
conditioning or
one that they accept for at colleges and other places like for real sports is the NASM.
Mm-hmm.
So and I was all right, cool. I'm gonna take that one, but I didn't know you could go 24-hour class. You could just take the test, open book, answer all the questions, and then you're a certified trainer.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's tough. Yeah.
what?
I know. I had a guy who I worked with
I
at
was
Pump
tripping.
It Up, studied for a month maybe, and then went to go take that exam. And he was like, "All right, I'm a personal trainer now." I was like, "Dude, you've spent more time studying than you have in an actual gym.
It's crazy to me.
Like you don't know what you're doing."
So crazy. Wow, it blew my mind.
So trust.
So be
like,
careful,
if you-
y'all.
Yeah,
Be
if
careful
something's
out
fishy,
there.
Like just any medical field though, like even like chiros, physical therapists. Like don't take my word for it. Like if you don't trust your medical professional or trainers or someone that you're paying money for your own body, you're spending that money. Find someone better or look. If you don't trust them, try to get a second opinion and be like, all right, I'm the idiot or something. Or
So
like,
so that's why now it all makes sense. So when I started working at the gym and I see other places that I go to the gym that the trainers are not even spotting their people. Remember how I was like saying
No,
that
they don't
that was
know
a
what
number
they're doing. It's
they
really it's
they
frustrating.
They just read the book, took the test, and then they're like, yeah, let's get swole or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah,
more
you can
weight
just
the
tell.
better. Push. Yeah.
You got it. The book said, well, actually, I only read a little bit of the book. It was open book. Gotta just copy and paste that shit. But anyways, I think this is right. That's crazy. Blew my mind. I was like, wow.
James Levine was here. Said, "Would you be an on-site medic for the next installment of Fast and Furious?" I'm just gonna, if that happens, I'm just gonna be the cut man for The Rock and Dom
yeah.
Toretto, basically.
I got the Vaseline.
You know they
guys
have
ready?
in their
You guys ready?
in their contracts, they have a quote to where they have to have equal blows landed in punches.
Oh, in the
Yes. It's the greatest contract of all time.
What?
Yes, The Rock, and you can even look into the movies, and we might have to. That might be like a book club thing one day if you guys got nothing to do as you watch those. And
What?
blow for blow, they have to have equal amounts of punches on each other.
So
For
nobody
Vin
won.
Diesel and The Rock.
Nobody
in
won,
the contract.
nobody lost.
Yes.
Interesting.
There's a bunch of weird stuff like that. Like
What?
Queen Latifah refuses to have a death in a movie she's in. Like there's just a weird one. That one doesn't matter that much. But him,
But
I think
okay,
Jason
that's kinda cool,
Statham
though.
has like a weird contract where he can't be beat up on camera or something.
I bet that makes sense. This is
But
Persona.
yeah, no, it's like widely known about too. It's like very
Interesting.
publicized of like, yeah, that's it. Since then, because of her death scene, she has never had another one,
Whoa.
and she will always have in her contract have that.
Have what?
I can't die.
She can't die in any of her movies.
At least no death
No death
scene.
scene.
That's crazy.
So she won't be on camera and be like, oh.
Speaking of, she's actually with the on that Netflix movie with Adam Sandler as Adam Sandler's wife. I don't know if you guys ended up catching that on Netflix. The basketball.
Yeah,
one.
I saw that.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good
Not
one.
bad.
It was a solid movie.
It was good.
It was.
It was good. It
And
was
then
solid. You gotta watch
Anthony
it.
Edwards was flying it. Like he was dope.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, nah, that's it's kind of like when DJs and artists have like certain type of like special requests, like when they go to the event.
Yeah.
Same thing. Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, James was saying what with XV he had like a weird like he had Wingstop or something, Buffalo Wild Wings or something. He had like buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Was his weird like thing.
I didn't know that because when I got there, like the promoter was like, you know that you could have like gave me a ride or two. I was like, man, that was my time to like I want like packs of Swedish fish. I want like imported like Japanese Dr. Pepper flavor. That's
Yeah, give me the Ramoon.
Somebody said, I
Yeah.
think Mo was saying that there was somebody that wanted a goat.
a goat to sacrifice.
The goat to
Yeah,
sacrifice.
he's
Sheesh.
Norwegian death.
Yeah, death metal band.
Oh yeah, man,
that makes
hell
sense.
yeah. Oh, he was on his
Yeah,
in his
yeah,
thing.
it's
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
That's
Oh, I
really-
forgot. I was watching about that. Yeah.
Pirate Radio.
man.
That's pretty crazy. That makes sense though, especially when you have an image to uphold, especially as like an actor or actress.
Yeah, I just think it's hilarious. Equal blows to be given. Or I think each one just has, he can't have more punches than me on me.
Basically.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
and so
saying.
they're
It
just
has
like,
to
all
be
right,
even.
whatever. Yeah,
Nobody
so they
wins,
never
nobody
get, they
loses.
always get up. They always are like staring each other down. They're never, no one's, if one gets knocked to the ground, the other one has to get knocked to the ground. Like, it's hilarious.
Leads to like a good even fight. Though.
I mean, like, I know every time they fight, no one's winning though.
Look, if I'm The Rock, I'm not letting myself get washed on camera.
Not by Vin Diesel.
That's fair.
Exactly. I'm just not.
And Vin Diesel can't because it's his movie.
I don't want somebody,
He is fast and furious.
Yeah, for real though.
I wouldn't want somebody that's like Vin Diesel size to like try me in real life. It's like, no, I've seen Vin Diesel.
Put him up, put him up, put him up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do we have any more questions in the chat?
Yeah. I know it's fantasy time or fantasy football time, so if you guys hit us with those injuries, if you want some unbiased or quick hitter opinions. I seen Najee just had his
Impersonal training.
Liz Frank thing. Darren Waller, I heard it's like a hammy thing. Could we confirm
Soft
hammy?
tissue?
It says soft tissue. That usually means hammy because they don't want to say hammy. If it's like a
Hammies
quad,
are
they're just
so
like it's a
bad.
quad. Don't worry about it. Anytime they say soft tissue, I immediately think it's a hamstring strain.
I stay away from hamstring injuries.
It's a hammy.
man.
Yeah, there you
From
go.
personal experience. Yeah, they said Miles Sanders too.
But
Jim.
he's always hurt. I think he's been having that. And I don't think Darren Waller's had one practice, and at first they were pushing it off till he didn't want his contract, blah blah. But they were just like made that an excuse. And it comes out now that he's like in contract talks. It's like actually has a hamstring, so whatever.
You
Does
still
that
picking
drop
up?
him off for me?
Are you putting in the yellow flag?
Like I'm
red
not
flag?
reaching for him. Yellow flag for
Yellow
sure.
flag.
Because he has injury history too. Not a red flag. I'm not dropping him out. Do I take him in the 6th round? No. Am I taking him like I've filled up both my running backs and both my receivers?
And he's
I
still
mean,
there.
am I flex? Like if he's there and I've filled up everything else and no one's fallen that I really like, yeah, I take him. I fill him out.
Ankle and knee last year, right?
Yeah, he had like weird.
I know. I drafted him last year,
just
so I have to
nagging
draft
things.
him this year because I'm 1 year off.
Yeah,
He's
so
in the ball.
the rule with those like kind of yellowish orange flags is like I'll take him if they're my last guy. Like Michael Thomas this year, I'm not super high. I already talked to you guys about he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be like.
You don't think he's gonna
returns.
come back?
But his situation, I think he's gonna come back. But I just think he's just not gonna be the top like 5 receiver we've seen before. But if I'm like at the turn and I have my flex position to fill out and that's it, like if I've got the 10th pick and then I'm coming back on the flip at 2, like 4 picks later, do I take him just so the other guys don't? Yeah, and then I just take like another guy that I'm gonna essentially just boop, boop, put into that flex. Yeah, like I'd put him as my first bench guy.
Okay, I see what you're saying. What's
Same
up
thing with
the
Waller. It's
Julio?
like that's technically my first bench spot. If it's my last, like my tight end, and I don't have one, what am I gonna draft a receiver on my bench? I'd rather take a flyer on Waller.
Was Julio hurt last year, or he just had
He
Ryan
was
Tannehill?
nagging. He was nagging. He had a bunch of like soft
He's
tissue
always
things that were
been like
nagging.
that,
He's
right?
old though now. So Julio's whole trope was he was supposed to be TO 2.0. Just I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm stronger than you, but he was a little better route runner, but not as big and not as fast and not as strong as TO. So he was a little bit better, but he was a big physical guy, and that's the problem with those receivers is they break down. The big physical receivers that have to punch a bunch of people all the time, outside of
Makes sense.
the goats like T.O. and Randy Moss or like
Brock
those
Smith.
guys that could kind of do it. Everyone else kind of breaks down. Larry Fitz is a really good exception to someone who didn't, but like for the most part, those big, I'm trying to think of all of the big like brawny receivers that just didn't make it past like 5 years.
Saquon.
Saquon, I'm bullish on. I like Saquon. If I can get Saquon, because there's a rule within like the medical community of the year after the year after. So the year after an ACL, you're not going to be the same. So the year after the ACL is usually the most buy low time. So I'm cool.
did he
I'm
tear
picking
it
up
twice?
Saquon as my RB, like my second RB. If I'm at the back of the first round or whatever, and I'm like in a 12-team league, like if I'm picking like 9th or I don't know how deep I would go, but like 8th, 9th, 10th, especially if I pick up like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson
get one more.
in the first round, like I'll be happy with Saquon. Like the odds of all these other running backs getting injured are like pretty close to the same. Like
how do you feel about McCaffrey and all his injuries?
thing with McCaffrey is I'm not here to get you're the first or you're last in fantasy football. And I'll take the kind of the big swings at
Or
him.
in chips?
Yeah, like you're not first or last. That's it. So I'm okay with taking. If I have number 1 overall pick in the league, I'm taking McCaffrey over Jonathan Taylor. Higher upside per game is going to be high, and if you take his backup, and hopefully like he survives.
I think you
but
said
that's
it
the same
best, too.
thing with Jonathan Taylor. Can get hurt anytime. He's going to
It
get
doesn't matter
400
who it is.
touches.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Doesn't matter
like
who it is.
he's going to get 350, 400 touches. Derrick Henry's going to get 300 touches.
That's the name of the game.
Maybe
You
not
gotta say
300, but like he's going to get 300 carries, like 350
Easily.
touches.
Yeah, easily.
Dalvin Cook's going to get, like, they're all going to get the 330, 350 touches. That's why you're picking them at the beginning of the draft. So that's why they're always going to have that risk. I might as well take a risk at a guy who can get me, if Christian McCaffrey averaged 29 points a game, everyone would be like, yeah, as long as he stayed healthy, that's like a thing he could do. So it's not like a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like,
Might as well get
I
him
feel like it's
anyways.
more of a
until the
surprise if he
wheels,
stays-
until the wheels
yeah.
fall off.
so like
Gotta play it that way.
I'm more of a, if I'm like have that big of a home run swing, I'll take him. But if I'm at like the back end of the first round, I'm just not losing with my first round pick.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's the only exception I'll take with that was like, I'll take guys that I want, that I think are going to stay healthy and play as many games as possible, and take swings 3rd, 4th, 5th round of like high upside guys, 5th, 6th round. But
Yeah, I mean, injuries are going to happen regardless. You got to have a good bench. No matter what, you have to have a good bench, and you have to know how to play the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Simple as that. That's just how the name of the game goes.
as far as injuries are concerned, though, Saquon, green light, he's
Saquon.
good. Darren Waller, yellow, orange. Michael Thomas, I'm kind of yellow on just because I don't think he's going to be as great, but like he's at the back end of your bench. Yeah, I'm taking him as a flex. Hell yeah. That's
Sanders,
sick.
yellow.
Miles Sanders is kind of yellow orange because of his injury history.
You said Waller, yellow.
Waller, yellow orange ish, just because it's a hammy. You're always got to downgrade that a little bit. I'm not taking him in the 5th. You know, 6th, 7th. Yeah, I'm still cool at the back end.
Back end of it.
I'm trying to think. There was another hammy injury or a soft tissue injury of a running back I was not super high on. Can't remember.
Can't remember either.
Hit those questions. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we're.
Any other quick hitters for all of you guys' fantasy drafts that I'm going to give you all of my secrets to as we go through the... No?
No, I think we're good.
All right, then. Thanks for joining us today. That was
Thank
a
y'all
lot
in
of,
the
lot of
chat.
activity. We love
Appreciate
that.
it.
Always fun for us.
We will be
ask us
back.
whatever questions you need. How stupid it is, we'll answer it eventually. But for Pain or Gain, I'm Dr. T.
I'm Timo.
Catch you next week.
Yee.